learn how to use, for example, a specific technology, only in this case they may be on their own one day. My personal goal is every time that I want to make it a bit more simple, but I'm against turnkey solutions and something like, okay, I give you the box and then you have the service. It's not, I'm against that.
Yeah, but there are different types of people that you have. Some people just want to
Right,
have
yeah.
a turnkey solution because else they will not do it. The others are loving the technology.
Yeah,
they are willing to.
but you never reach the goal of enabling people to do something on their own if you get them simply a box and they don't understand what to do.
You need to do both.
Yeah, you have to do both. Yeah.
Trying to rewind and continue the discussion, I think trying to be autocritical, but in a constructive way. If we look backward, let's say the beginning, this kind of discussion we already have in this 2005, 2006, 2007, but I do see an evolution actually. Until at that point, very much we were very much, let's say, application centric in terms of. We were this kind of solution, those kind, and we were having the discussions. I remember, for instance, in the summit that we shared together. At the very end, it forked to two applications. We don't like Drupal because it's the basement, and so at the very end, we forked it to another initiative because of trying to take it out of Drupal, which I think it makes sense because if you don't like it, you have an idea for doing it better. But we lack it, and that's why the problem is that it takes time over the time, and we need time for to make it happen. But I do see there is a difference between the last, let's say, 1 year, 2 years since we did it and also. That that should not be approached in terms of using an architecture or using a name or whatever. We have to, is that idea of the database, the metadata. That's by using again the sample of why is that easy to load things into Google? Because you have only to describe them in some XML tags. So that's everybody, let's create a common language. But we were still talking about that. The priority was not there. The priority was instead of developing a different framework, which I tell you, I mean, it's very easy to see that it's very costly to develop. It's thousands of man hours developing the code for that, and the code I tell you is always bad. You can always improve it, so it's a never-ending story, right? But as long as we start with something, and I believe that we already have some examples. It's a matter of time and lack of resources for doing this kind of stuff. But right now I see more consensus, and I think this is good. Only things takes years, so beginning first we are progressing because we have a common. It's not a matter of how Vancouver or Bifi or Athens as well. It's a matter of in the future to build an architecture. What I mean, instead of talking in terms of software applications, platforms, we have not to be application centric. The applications will come after. We have to like what you did with Wi-Fi. You standardize a way to wirelessly communicate data from one point to another. And I'm sure that there will be many different ways to communicate data. But what created the standard is as a way to describe that something that the device that is sitting here is able to talk with other that is from a different manufacturer and is sitting there. So we can create the nodes in whatever platform, but still able to see all together. By describing that case, particular case, it's not about microwaves. Over the air is about data coming on and coming off, describing in XML. And hopefully, I don't know how, I'm not that ambitious to say we will have by the next year or whatever. But I see a consensus, and that makes me feel. That makes me feel bad when I see that we are not having time to work enough on this. We don't have enough resources. But we agree, and which I believe is the right point. We have to do that. We know what to do. I think it's very important, and we have a consensus.
I also think that by doing this, like what I would say, open wireless common standard of how things work, then this will also mean that it's approachable in different languages, natural languages. So once you have something in the computer code which is common, then you can easily translate this into many different languages and be then accessible from people from USA, Latin America, whatever. And because the work will not be duplicated, just translation, which is easier than try to think up the whole thing again in your own language, and then it is not compatible. So maybe what you are seeing is the lack of these, that every of our solutions which we have is in our language because it was built for our communities. And by interchanging these solutions between and making some common standard for the solutions we made, this also means easier approach to them. And as I said, this division, will go over this gap of natural languages which we have and share in the world, which is a problem, but is also a gift in some sense because we then have different approaches. So now I think I agree, and I think we all agree it is time we somehow in our micro niches of the ecological space of various networks developed a lot of different solutions which started to converge, and now we have to just make this convergent point at the end, and we will see and have some common ground to build upon another step. So we have hardware, we know do software, and then we just share business plans, and this is it.
For this you need to interconnect. So
in the sense,
in a technical sense, you need to interconnect the meshes so they will converge one day to a technical standard or something like this.
Okay.
It's a challenge, you know, because it's, we have to be technological. It's not the same to interconnect through cable. You know, for instance, in order to support be able to describe a network, you have to say this is a mesh network that works in adult mode, that meets those requirements. This is an infrastructure. This is a fiber optic that you have to know which colors of every how many tubes the cable characteristics are inside. You have to describe in a different way. So we have to create some common metadata that is able to describe whatever the people do have. Of course, I mean, if you have a truncated solution that it works, you know, whatever technology will work on that. But on top of this is several layers, let's say, like OC. The physical layer work in a single, but at the very end, something should happen, which is the internet. So, right, that everything gets connected. Here there is one technology and there's another, one protocol to another. So there are several layers, but it's something, what I mean, that having the clear ideas, and we have improved so much on that, we have a much wider vision, should be described. And could be described. It can be. Just a matter of time, have clear, you know, ideas. I'm sure that we will miss things when trying to describe these things, but be enough extensible and flexible to adapt the future needs, you know, being able to describe new solutions that will come and new technologies that hopefully will come. But start from that, and once we are able to describe in terms of the network, then we will be able to, you know, make a form to create a turnkey solution for given users that need that, or let some others keep it open to do whatever they want. But still being able to describe how it works and what it is, and all the things that the stuff that we need to cooperate. Because there will be for sure many different solutions, let's say. So it's not a matter of which technology, it's a matter of being able to put all together in some way, and being able to understand regardless of whatever you have.
So it sounds like just a quick feedback from the group. Is it when you run a network and we create a common like format, standard, node database, something that lets these interact and describes it as you said, would you be willing to switch over your node database to something like that? Just a quick show of hands. So it makes sense. Okay? So the second question that I have from that, if we roughly agreed that this is what's needed to join the forces of the community networks, is how do we make this process continuous, because it's going to take some time. Okay, so I have a few thoughts about it.
If everyone provides a description of their network in a written form, and they're put together, then you can at least determine some common ground where there obviously will be a lot of common ground, and then just make suggestions. How you can only make a start.
There is
We're going to have a meeting in a few months here anyway, exactly to this, But I wonder if if it's done with one meeting. I'm not sure. And we have some experience. Henning was at the IATF a couple of times, and there are standard bodies out there. And I know the IATF, for example, asked us, the Man Networking Group, to describe Funkfeuer as a draft RFC, just to have a description. So there are well-established procedures to have formats and descriptions which go way beyond this room. So maybe it makes sense to have it bigger. I don't know if that's what you want, but this would maybe be the classical way how to do it on the internet.
Sorry, would be
to have a description as a RFC draft at least, because then that's how the internet wrote their standards, right? And then
isn't
the
natural thing to accumulate the things you have in common?
Yes.
You have one thing in
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the idea of this RFC, right? To
write down what rather than build a big thing that everyone needs to somehow fit into, just acknowledge the things that are already in common.
Sure, those will be the source. This input is get what we already have already, and the output is probably could be something like in RFC draft or something. Because then it's easier to know, okay, this is what we now found out that we do and how we do and so on. And for your, we already have a weekend main quiz for this subject where we try to collect all this data. So we could maybe, you could all maybe share this, add your experience, describe your technologies which you use, and then and some iterations we can start making some aggregation of all this data. Error?
Sorry, just yeah.
Can you maybe show the web page on the project?
I don't have the adapter now. Bro just left.
Can you direct me?
What do you need, the Mac adapter?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. Sorry, we were just saying before, or I was asking if the IEEE is the right place, but I don't think it's layer 2 and below. So we're probably layer 7 and 8. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh.
There are so many of them.
Interop.
Which one was it?
Interop. Interop.
Yeah.
Dot WLAN dash LAN. No, WLAN.
Local area network.
Dash L G dot net. This is something which we started with last year in Rome, and the idea is to collect data on different wireless networks, most on technological aspects of that. So we, for example, a few of European networks provided descriptions of their databases, which they use in their systems, so that we could start on the common database schema. But as we found out is that there is lack of time to start doing integration. So you are invited, all of you, to provide some input. There is also main piece you can join, so please join. And there's also some other ideas which I described. If you just scroll down and watch
Why don't you sit You know the way better than I.
So there are also some other things which could be maybe on the technological thing, but I would also like maybe that we go later on back to the initial questions of about the future, because this is only the technological aspects of the networks, not community and vision in the development aspects of the network. So, but this is one thing is wireless knowledge database, a common schema, so that we can share common common applications, common services, common data that we can. I know I have a great map for the displaying nodes, and somebody else has some other map for heights and so on. So we can interchange this, and that we can collect all this data into the global map for all nodes and similar. So this is important one step. The other is of course sharing of source code, as you said, how to approach. I don't know, make your own UFINet unit code for that, to make the system and so on, or whatever. So all this should be also shared. And we share this in the sense of OpenWRT, which is a really great project which helps in firmware, but we don't yet share this in other smaller projects which we did for ourselves and which we in our language, mostly comments in our language in the code, so it's really ugly. And we should also work on this, that it is in English, and because sadly it is easier to do in English, international things. Then also later on some IP addressing, which like that we know with whom we can peer and similar things. So these are my what I suggest we could do, and also the DNS. We should maybe do some common top level domain or something. It is visible that we are wireless community networks which we have common top level domain and similar things. And of course, share media. I believe we should share pictures of our nodes, approaches, videos, because all this is then useful for PR and approaching the policymakers and everybody. We should then share, look, this is WiFi-net, these are the pictures, because now I have to go there and find in their release where is gallery. I don't know the language, I don't know how to get there. And we have a lot of videos, a lot of materials, everybody of us, and then we have also videos of workshops, how to do something, and all this could be shared with subtitles and so on, so that it can be translated to other languages and so on, and we can share knowledge, media stuff, pamphlets, whatever we have. And this is definitely the way how we could cooperate, and this wiki was made last year in Rome, and it has some information which we start collecting, but the only way how it can survive is that really we start using it and feed it with data. So you are all invited to join. And of course there is many lists here. And you can also join here the more like in-depth discussions than which on the work of allocating this schema and other things. And probably we should really meet also in live and